Good evening and welcome to Marion County Public Schools Engage MCPS. School safety. The goal of this initiative is to build and sustain effective partnerships between home and school to support student success. This evening, you will hear from an important district department that focuses on keeping all 45,475 plus of our students safe at school. Thank you for logging in and spending time with us. My name is Shawana Hughes, Coordinator of Multicultural Education. I am honored to be your facilitator this evening. Before we get started, let's review some virtual norms. It will be important to use the chat box feature to communicate with facilitators and ask questions. The text box is being closely monitored for questions. We want to answer all of your questions this evening. Microphones and cameras are disabled to protect your privacy and ensure you are able to hear all of the important information that has been prepared for you. The session will be recorded and shared on Marion County Public Schools Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Please share information from this session with your friends and family members who have students enrolled in Marion County Public Schools. Let's practice using our chat feature now. In the chat box, please let us know what schools are represented by typing the name of your child's school in the chat box. Thank you. I see many of our schools represented for elementary, middle school, and high. Thank you for joining us. At this time, I will turn over the presentation to Mr. Dennis McFadden, Director of Safe Schools.
Hello, my name is Dennis McFadden, and I'm the Director of Safe Schools. Shown here is the Safe Schools staff. Gina Perkle is our confidential secretary, who brings a lot of experience due to her time in the district and her past role in approving vendors through background screenings. Cynthia Barnes is a retired sergeant from the Ocala Police Department. She has served as a community service officer, patrol officer, PIO, patrol sergeant, and brings a wealth of knowledge that directly relates to school safety. Eric Reese also retired from the Ocala Police Department and served many roles. He also served as a school resource officer for 1 year at the Marion County Sheriff's Office before accepting a position with Marion County Public Schools. Kenneth Singletary has experience as a patrol deputy with the Marion County Sheriff's Office, and prior to that, worked for the Florida Department of Corrections. Kenny has a lot of Marion County Public Schools knowledge from the time he spent working in tech services. Last but certainly not least, Larry Delp came to us in August of 2021 with over 12 years with the Florida Department of Corrections. Larry is a certified instructor in firearms, first aid and CPR, defensive tactics, and is a Glock armorer. Overall, this team has over 100 years of law enforcement and corrections experience. Prior to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting, the Safe Schools Department recommended and utilized several best practices to keep our students, staff, and visitors safe. The first was making it mandatory that all doors be locked during instruction. That recommendation was approved district-wide in January of 2018. Next, we started working on the Florida Safe Schools Assessment Tool, FSAT, to document school infrastructure and areas needing improvement. This reporting tool now is required to be used for documentation for all public and charter schools in the state of Florida. Finally, reunification sites were reviewed and changes were made, which has resulted in all reunification sites being at local churches to accommodate the number of students and staff at each school. The ALICE protocol is an options-based response that gives students and staff the ability to make decisions that creates the best opportunity for them to survive during an active assailant event. Once a code red is called, students, staff and students are encouraged to A, alert others by using their voices, intercom systems, rapid panic alert, cell phones, etc. L, lockdown as quickly as possible. It has proven that the safest place is in a locked classroom away from windows and doors during an active assailant event. I, inform law enforcement when it is safe to do so. However, with over two SROs on every campus, with one or two SROs on every campus, the response should be immediate. C, counter by using available resources to barricade doors, distract the assailant, and if all else fails, and as a last resort, fight back. The goal is to survive, so do whatever it takes. Finally, E, evacuate if it is safe to do so. Try and put distance between you and the active assailant. These are the 17 victims of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. Unfortunately, their death is what caused legislative chain action to implement many of the state mandates we have today. The landscape of schools in Florida was forever changed after the tragedy at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. February 14, 2018 will be remembered as one of the deadliest school shootings in American history. Approximately 2 months later, we experienced our own school shooting on April 20th, 2018 at Forest High School. Although no lives were lost, the event caused lifelong trauma to students, teachers, staff, and the community. Forest Strong became a slogan to show strength and resiliency. As a result of training our students and staff in the ALICE protocol, they used their knowledge to barricade classrooms. These are actual pictures from the event on April 20th, 2018, and as you can see in the picture on the top left, they used whatever was available to barricade the door. The picture on the top right is footage of a law enforcement officer assisting with searching the classrooms for any other assailants. 19 students and 2 teachers were massacred at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas on May 24, 2022. Students ranging from ages 9 to 11 and 2 teachers were murdered at the hands of an 18-year-old. This isn't the last school shooting, but one that garnered a lot of attention due to the law enforcement response. We all know the story, but I'm here to say that if an incident happened in Marion County Public Schools, the agency of jurisdiction, be it the Marion County Sheriff's Office or the Ocala Police Department, will respond appropriately to ensure that there is no 77-minute delay in engaging the shooter. The Safe Schools Department will assist as needed, but not be the agency in charge during an active assailant event. There have been 35 shootings that resulted in injuries or deaths so far in 2022, more than in any single year since Education Week began tracking the incidents in 2018. As you can see, school shootings are on the rise. We can contribute the low number in 2022 to schools being closed because of the pandemic. Goal 2 of the strategic plan is to provide a safe and positive learning and working environment for our students, staff, and visitors. In providing that safe learning and working environment, we work with the finance department to properly use available funds to complete all school hardening projects. Door buzzers and cameras are being installed at all schools within the district. The two work together to prevent unwanted visitors from entering the school. Receptionists can see those at the front door and can allow access after vetting the visitor. Cameras are also installed throughout the school campus, therefore students, staff, and visitors can be monitored as needed. Security fencing has been installed at nearly all schools, and we're now in the phase of completing upgrades to make it even harder to gain access to our school campuses. The fencing creates a single point of entry that is designed to force visitors to enter the campus through the main office. SROs play a vital role in school safety. Some of their duties include reviewing safety procedures for potential internal and external threats to the school and its occupants, participating in monthly active assailant drills, de-escalation of aggression between students and between students and staff, We currently have 58 SROs on campuses across the district, with some campuses having 2 SROs. The Safe Schools Department collaborates with the Mental Health and Wellness and Professional Leadership and Learning departments to assist with the proper training of students and staff to prepare them for any future crisis events. Mental health and wellness plays a critical role in the prevention of not only school shootings, but in instances of suicide, bullying, and other risky behaviors. As a result of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting, state mandates require that active assailant drills be conducted monthly at all public and charter schools. The Safe Schools Department ensures that the drills are completed and documented to maintain compliance. Drills for active shooter and hostage situations shall be conducted in accordance with developmentally appropriate physical, mental, and emotional, age-appropriate procedures, and as often as other emergency drills. Drills conducted at an elementary school may not look the same as a drill conducted at a high school. The Safe Schools Department will collaborate with key stakeholders to develop a safety task force to support at-risk students. Risk behaviors like vaping, illegal drug usage, gun violence, and suicide will be addressed to try and decrease their frequency. Future plans are to complete the installation of all fencing, door buzzer, and camera projects within the goals of the strategic plan, upgrade existing security fencing as needed, replace outdated or damaged cameras, to research the feasibility of installing access controls at schools and district offices, continue to train and educate students, staff, and the community on school safety and security, continue to cross-train with our first responder partners. On behalf of the Safe Schools Department, thanks for your attendance, and if you ever need questions answered or opportunity to share this information with other groups, please do not hesitate to give us a call. Be safe and enjoy the holiday season.
If you have any questions at this time, please feel free to put it inside of our chat box. We'll give you a few moments to do that for our participants that are here today.
So I see a question here about, is there a projected timeline on when all buzzers will be complete across the district? I believe all fencing is complete, correct? All fencing is complete except for at 2 of our schools, and they are at MTI and MTC, which is Marion Technical College. We are finishing up Lakewood Middle School as well as Dunella Middle School, and they should be completed within the next few months. But we are looking to get all of our fencing projects wrapped up within the next few months, and we'll go back and continue to do some upgrades. As far as the door buzzers and cameras, we have expedited those projects as well. We have pretty much made them a priority, and our goal is to have all cameras and door buzzers at all the schools completed within the next 12 to 18 months. So we see another question that says, are metal detectors not a feasible option? That has been a huge topic of discussion with metal detectors. And I saw a question earlier today about metal detectors being at the board meetings. We have done research on metal detectors, and although the metal detectors themselves are not as expensive as one would think, it's the staffing, the manning of the metal detectors that will create the really exorbitant cost. We figured that a metal detector, it would take more than one at each of our schools, roughly 3 or 4, especially at our high schools, that would require at least a school staff of 3 to 4 extra people and at least 2 sworn law enforcement officers per metal detector, again, which would be in the millions and millions of dollars. So at this point, we're just hoping that we will continue to use the best practices that we have in place. There's another question here about, will you be adding cameras to every hallway at Westport? We are in the process now. Once we install cameras at each of our schools, our goal is to go back and add cameras throughout, starting at high schools, along those hallways and other areas that the camera footage is not currently available at, but we do plan to go back and add cameras throughout all of our schools. So another question is there any system in place for students to have access if there is some kind of emergency on campus that can report if they can get to a teacher quick enough? We do have several anonymous tip platforms that can be used. One is Fortify Florida, that is really pushed by the state of Florida. If your kid is in any school, they can see those Fortify Florida posters around the school campuses, as well as on any of our desktops, district-owned desktops. You pull up the web page, Fortify Florida is also on that. There is a text a tip hotline that can also be used, as well as anyone who desires to call 911 or dial 911 if they see an emergency on any of our campus. We want our kids to feel comfortable in going and making reports or reporting anything to our staff. Believe it or not, that is probably 95% or better of all the tips that we get come from the positive relationship that our students have with our staff on our school campuses. So yes, there are opportunities and abilities for them to report any emergency on our school campuses. Next question, are safety staff stationed at specific schools or do they rotate? When you say safety staff, that if we're talking about an SRO is at every school in Marion County. The safe school staff, however, rotates from school to school. They have assignments, schools that they're assigned to, and they rotate from one school to another, just to be able to have relationships and have that communication with our principals and our SROs on campus. So our school safety staff rotate from one school to another. And we can see that Ms. Devick put in the Fortify Florida link. Again, that is something that's pushed by the state of Florida. It's mandated that we post that around our school campuses, on our school board webpage, and in newsletters that go out. We want that Fortify Florida to be noticeable so that our kids can use it, and those alerts will come directly to my phone. Whether it's during the day or at night, I will get those notifications, and we take immediate action when we get those into our phones. Another question is, what is the policy and procedure for a code call at schools? When are parents notified? A recent code yellow was called at my child's school, and a call was sent out after the code was over. The call was done in a very nonchalant manner. Are your parents notified when a code is placed? Yes, parents, we do notify parents, but one thing we have to understand is that when a code is called, we're calling it for a reason, or someone has identified some type of safety hazard or risk to someone at the school or the school itself. So our staff and the SROs at that time, it is important that they make sure that the school, the staff and the students at the school are safe. So at that moment in time, our priority is to take care of address the threat, address the situation that is at hand. So we may not be able to notify parents or the community at that moment of a code red, whether it be code red or code yellow. We have to have time to make sure that the school campus itself is in a safe environment and a safe state before we notify the parents. But we do expect for those calls to go out as soon as possible, notifying the parent of the threat on the campus or potential threat. So there's a question about the school safety staff has an opportunity to become known by the student body. So our school safety staff, they do. What they do is, again, once they're on campus, they're walking around. We have some of our safety staff that are, especially at elementary school, we participate in reading programs. We've got some of our safety staff that are mentors to our students. They make friends with them. They're walking in the hallways. They're giving high fives. So we all have an opportunity when we're going from campus to campus to develop those positive relationships with our students. And there's times on campus when they may even report something to us. But yes, the school safety staff has great opportunities to meet and have conversations with our students as well as the staff on the campuses. Will there be extra training for students and with disabilities to understand what is going on? Yes, we have looked at that, and that's why part of the training is for age and developmentally appropriate students. Again, every school is unique and different, so we have to use best practices for our students that may not be able to understand the full effects of a drill, and we can't provide them with the same level of training or the same type of training as we do some of our general ed students. However, again, elementary school may not have the same type of drills as a middle or high school, but we do everything age appropriately. And we also just encourage our parents to speak to their kids and talk to their kids about the drills and how to respond. And if they have any questions, they can feel free to call the Safe School Department at any time, and we can give them guidance as well. Yeah. And there was another question about the proposal that will be addressed at the upcoming work session that will be held on December 15th. That is going to be held, and discussion about the sheriff proposal will be held at an upcoming work session on December the 15th. And there is a number for the text or tip hotline in the comments, 352-877-2838. Again, that text or tip hotline number is 352-877-2838. Again, which is another opportunity for students to anonymously report any type of incident on campus, whether it be an incident that's occurring at that very moment, a friend, another student struggling with some type of emotional issues or concerns, can all be reached through those different numbers. Yes, and there's a question about being able to listen in and answer questions on December 15th. Yeah, the work session is open to the public. You can also view the December 15th work session online. You can have access to those different links through our school board webpage, but feel free to be in attendance or listen to the December 15th work session online.
Thank you, Mr. McFadden, for all of this helpful information. Now, what you see before you is just another upcoming event for family engagement. Marion County Public Schools continues to provide opportunities for families to stay connected. The next parent partnership is scheduled for Saturday, January 21st at Bellevue High School. Please join us for helpful tips and strategies to support your child's success. Thank you again for joining us this evening. On the screen, you can see the email address for Engage MCPS if you have any questions about upcoming family engagement events. Please complete the feedback survey found in the chat box at this time. Your feedback will be used to help us bring you relevant information and improve your experience. Have a great evening.